Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to Gettin' Savvy in Health, Wealth, and Beauty. Important to note that everything is for entertainment purposes only. Please do speak and meet with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. And also, please meet and speak with your GP before making any health or beauty decisions.
Hey, Melissa.
Hello.
Hello. I just got to Vail and you're coming
Oh,
tomorrow. And
right.
I have to tell you, it is so dry here. Like I just want to sit in a bathtub with these incredible oils from Espa. I don't know if you've ever seen that product, but it's
Oh,
incredible. ESPA.
okay.
And you get out of there, you don't even need to put cream on your body at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It is so good. But we got here and I'm like, oh, the floors, like we've in floor heating. And I'm like, "Oh, it's odd that the floors are cold." Well, both of our boilers are out, so there's no hot water. So I'm like,
Oh, no.
"Yes." So
So
I'm
that's like
itchy.
me. That's like me driving around in my car that has no heat. I told you about this, right? So
No.
Tesla, the heat pump, well, I'm assuming that's what it is, broke. So all of a sudden I was driving it a week and a half ago and I heard this noise and all of a sudden a pop and then it just says climate requires maintenance and it's freezing. So like the seat warmers still work and the steering
Oh,
wheel still works and I can still defrost my windshield. It just won't heat up. So I've tried to drive it minimally, but I've had to drive it a few times and it's just so cold. I'm just so cold, which is why I'm excited to come skiing. I'm
yeah.
excited to Vail. I've never been there. Uh, but the idea of just going somewhere cold isn't that I'll
It's
love
not that
it there.
exciting.
But
But
yeah, but I kinda wish it was a sunny vacation. Well, it's yeah, I hear it's sunny there though.
yeah, it's so sunny. It's like spring skiing. I haven't skied yet, but I know, it's gonna be so great.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be on the I get there tomorrow, so I'll be on the mountain Friday.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'll be
I
great.
forgot. I know I always tell myself to pre-hydrate, like, the day before going to altitude, you should start drinking because it's just so dehydrating, um, going to altitude, and I
Yeah.
got the job of that today, so I gotta start drinking.
But Melissa, does it
I get
okay.
my water right now.
Okay. Well, I well, I didn't do it, but I am doing it
Well,
now.
yeah, it
I
makes a
didn't
difference.
how can you really hydrate the day before? Because don't you just flush it all out anyway? As you,
No,
no?
it's to start from a hydrated place as opposed to starting from a dehydrated place.
Wow.
Mhm. Because the
Yeah.
combination of flying is dehydrating,
Uh-huh.
and going to altitude is dehydrating, and then you said it's so dry. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've noticed the last time I came to visit you actually last
Yeah.
year, I made a point of really drinking a lot of water the day before, and I felt like it helped.
Hmm. And then do you take anything in particular to how everyone's gets those like packages, the hydration packages?
Um,
You don't do that.
mhm.
What it has a lot of salt in it. Isn't that what keeps you hydrated? Because it doesn't let you pee?
Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of those they can, right? Or when you're dehydrated, you need both electrolytes and water.
Okay.
So, yeah, that can help those packets, but it can also bloat you a lot.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
You know how you feel the day after you have like a very salty meal, how your like rings are tight?
Yeah. Is that
Mhm.
why you don't do it?
I just don't, I feel like I don't really need it. I feel like if I just drink the water
Okay.
and eat, I mean, I don't eat a particularly like some people are completely carb free. In that case, they may need the extra sodium, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. There's not much you can do, I don't think. Like, but you really do feel. I mean, I feel fine, but
Do
it's
you take
just
the Diamox or no? Some people take medication for altitude sickness when they go.
no,
No.
no.
Yeah.
I don't. No, I never had a problem. Other than I do feel like more bloated,
Okay.
just in general.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not. It takes a while to. I feel like feel great. You
Yeah.
know.
Well,
But
hopefully I'll
anyway,
have a day tomorrow just to relax
yeah.
and then Friday start skiing.
Hit the slopes.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just say, just in the markets, there's that we can get into a couple big things that happened over the past week. We had a major sell off in silver and gold. last Friday, and there's always ripple effects from that. So big sell off in metals and miners. And the question, of course, is there an opportunity now? Has it leveled out? Then we've also seen the continuation of major selling of software names because people are concerned that you won't need these huge software as a service companies, so SaaS companies helping the enterprise companies with all of their software needs because AI will be able to do it. And with the AI tools that are now coming out, some of these companies can actually maybe create it internally. So I want to talk about that. And then just some maybe actionable items, things that I'm thinking about and doing. What's on your docket?
So, a few articles caught my attention this week. One of them was what we need to think about in prescribing GLP-1 drugs to seniors and a
Hmm.
more elderly population because they're just so popular now. They've gone so mainstream, they're in the news, and so doctors are getting a lot more questions from, patients that we still considered young, but technically in our medical literature are considered senior, so
Hmm.
65 plus, on are there additional risks for that population to take these
Hmm.
drugs? Should we be prescribing them? And do they need different monitoring? So I was going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was also going to talk about an article I saw about muscle loss and GLP-1 drugs and how actually maybe we don't need to be as concerned as we have been. So
Hmm.
that was it.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk about the new NACI guidelines for pneumonia vaccination because I think it's.
Hmm. Okay. And anything on the beauty
And,
front?
and one
Yeah.
other thing that I felt like I should, I mean, it's hard not to address it. I don't know if you've seen the news, obviously, with the Epstein files, but with respect to Peter Attia.
Yes.
Well, he's really taken a hit for his involvement. And, I don't want to get into the whole backstory of,
Yeah.
that. But one thing that was interesting is that some of the emails that I've seen them post talk about how allegedly Peter Attia, who is a well known physician, longevity expert. He has the podcast, The Drive. He read the book Outlive, which I think was an excellent book,
Hmm.
and how it's a
He wrote it? He wrote it or
yeah,
read it?
he was the
He wrote it.
author.
Okay.
No, he
Okay.
was the author. I've talked about it before. The book, I think the book's an excellent read.
Mhm.
Um, but so allegedly he may have been treating Epstein for, general medical issues, but also low testosterone. So
Oh.
a little bit about that because I thought it was interesting because, when you think about someone like Epstein, you might think he had high testosterone. Like typically when you think about somebody who has increased sexual appetite or libido, or, you might think that is associated with high testosterone, not low. So I just thought it was
Hmm.
an interesting topic to sort of
Hmm.
review.
Uh, and then anything on the beauty front lately? Any changes or new products that you're doing?
So I've started to experiment with a copper microneedling.
Copper microneedling.
Copper is peptide. So copper's in the markets and copper's in.
There you go.
We're investing in copper. Yeah.
Okay.
For
Well, you
our
know what's
skin
interesting?
and maybe our portfolios.
Okay. Well, years ago, like 20 years ago, there was a product that was for sale in the States when I lived in the States, and it was for your face, and it was copper.
Hmm.
And it was just a topical copper product.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever caught on because I think this is gonna sound new to a lot of people, but I remember using it. And, I feel like I think it irritated my skin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So this copper peptide, I don't know if you've seen it, like these like wellness experts posting. So it's bright blue. Okay. So
Okay.
that you see people injecting it and microdosing it. It's a peptide. But where the studies actually, there is a lot of evidence, is using it topically. But specifically, you want to use it with a device that allows you to penetrate the skin. So rather than just applying it topically on your skin,
Yeah.
you want to microneedle first to make those tiny little punctures to allow the copper peptide to absorb more into the skin. And it's supposed to be very good for boosting collagen, cell renewal.
Hmm.
People claim that it's really helped with the hair growth. So there's all
Really?
data on it. Yeah. So I started experimenting. I got you can buy the topical copper peptide online. There's lots of people that sell it. I think even like The Ordinary has a brand you can buy.
Okay.
And a lot of people buy microneedling pens that can be used at home. Obviously, they're
Oh,
not strong as the ones that you would get in office treatment, but you can get that and then use these copper peptides topically. Or what I've been doing at the office is have you ever heard of those like Botox facials with a stamper? So they're a little vial that has tiny little needles that are only a few millimeters that you stamp your skin with all over, and you can put different serums
yeah.
through these stampers to try to infuse them into your skin. So people use things like hyaluronic acid, vitamins, and sometimes diluted Botox to give you that glass facial look.
Oh.
I've been putting these copper peptides in it, so if you notice that my skin looks good, do that. Or if you notice I turned blue, oopsie, didn't work out.
Okay. Well, I'll
Okay.
see you in person in a
All
day
right.
or so.
Okay. Okay.
So, but have you noticed anything?
It's hard to say because we do all these different things. Like I'm doing so
Right.
many different things. It's hard to say what's what, but I haven't noticed any adverse
Mm-hmm.
reaction to it. And I do think my skin looks nice. But again, I do lots of different.
Yeah.
So,
Right. And the food intake and all that makes a big
mm,
difference.
and
Yeah.
how you eat and exercise and mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Genetics.
Um,
Some people just have better skin.
yeah. Well, saying that on the metals and mining side, so as I mentioned, there was a sharp sell off in silver last Friday, down like 30%. It went from $122 an ounce down to 74. So a 30% drop is massive. And it's now settled out around that $80 front. And it was interesting because I had a conversation with someone about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when, silver kept climbing because it's up significantly just even on a year to date basis. And they kept saying they were missing it. And I said, it just feels so frothy. And I think it's important to understand that when you see things take off and you've missed them, you don't have to have that FOMO, fear of missing out, but a lot of people do. And then they jump in, but when things are frothy and they just don't make sense that they've moved that far that fast, that's what I mean by frothy. And sure enough, it came down so quickly. Gold did as well. It was at $5,600.
Hard
And
stuff. This is when I
okay,
look at those things and I think like, what all of a sudden are they using silver for so much more than they were before? When I see something like copper, it's like, it makes sense because of AI and because copper is used in so many technological things.
right.
So is that the reason that silver went up? Because all of a sudden it's being used so much more, or was it more speculative? Like, what's the reason for
Well, it's a combination of all of it, right? It is going to be used more as we build out AI and EVs, et cetera. But that's always the job of the analyst to say, okay, well, let me add up that revenue stream. The reason why the revenue, the supply, the demand dynamics of silver, and let me then come to what price I think it should be at. But then you've got all this speculation in the market as well because it was a hot area. So as an example, there was a trader out of China, and I'm not going to get the whole story right, but his name was called like Big Hat, and so they do a lot of speculative trading over there in these metals and mining companies, and it can just keep boosting the price up. And then they also use leverage. So if you only have $100, but you can borrow 50, you're now buying $150 worth of silver, whereas before you could only buy $100. And so what happened was, or one of the reasons why silver started to decline was because what you and I always talk about, let's go back to the US Federal Reserve. Well, President Trump hired somebody that to be the next Fed chair to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell. His name's Kevin Warsh, and he was always viewed more as a hawkish person. Hawkish means you want tighter monetary conditions, so you don't lower rates as much and you don't print as much money. So the market was expecting that Trump, because we know he likes to have lower rates, would pick someone who is more dovish. So the reverse happened, and you had, um, when you think about yielding assets, right? If you've got somebody who's going to keep rates higher, Kevin Warsh, I don't think he necessarily will. I think he's flexible, and that's what the commentary is. But the initial knee-jerk reaction was he's going to be tighter on monetary policy. So if you've got cash and you can make money at a higher interest rate that seems more secure versus buying gold or silver, which is not yielding anything, doesn't pay you a dividend, there's that whole reversal. So you had a stronger dollar, you had commodities drop off, and then you probably had a lot of margin calls as well, which continued to push the prices down. Does that make sense?
A little bit. So where did the money go? So where did the people that took the money out of silver and gold put it?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, I'm sure there were losses, many, many losses. But what you are seeing, and this actually dovetails more into the other big sell off that we're seeing, which is in US technology and specifically the software names, again, because the concern is that how much software is company XYZ going to need if I can bring it in internally AI? There's these new tools. So, a lot of the time in the market, you will sell and then ask questions later. So you have seen software names down 30% since October. So that's a really big move. And I want to bring this up too because what?
PayPal. So like PayPal, Shopify, these type companies?
Yeah, yeah, all the Salesforce, we'd have to look at CrowdStrike, Palantir, which is, in some ways I think it's aerospace and defense, but now it's getting lumped into software, which it is as well. So to me, I'm wondering, is there going to be some opportunities? So as an example, the IGF, so that's iShares, it's an ETF, IGV, that is down 28% since October. Okay, that's the software ETF, one software ETF in the United States. So that's down 28%. I'm thinking at some point, this is going to level out. We even had the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, say that this software sell off we've seen is the most illogical thing in the world. That's what he is saying. Okay. But, I also don't want to catch a falling knife. But you know me, I like buying things when they're out of favor and when the valuations are more attractive. So I'm going to keep my eye on IGV. Now, again, so where's the money going? Where's the money going out of the silver companies or the software names? They're actually moving more into some of the cyclical areas of the market. So you are seeing this rotation, this people are talking about this broadening out of the market, which actually is healthy when people buy other areas of the market other than technology. So you are seeing that happen. But the other thing that's been interesting with this, Melissa, is that um, I don't know if you've heard much about private credit.
Mm-mm.
So private credit is something that isn't necessarily they're making now it's accessible to people like you and me. But before it was really if you had access to or were an accredited investor, you would be an accredited investor, I am as well, and you could get a fund that isn't publicly traded. That is a private credit fund. So people were loving these because a company would give a software company a loan and charge, 11, 12%, then give you 8%. That's obviously more than you've been making in the market, right? Or like in a cash account. So it's been, a lot of people put money in private credit and it is now publicly available. There are publicly traded vehicles for you or anyone to buy. But what's been interesting is private credit has lent so much money to software companies. So you're seeing these private
Mm.
credit funds having to lower their NAV, their net asset value of those funds to the tune of like 19%. So again, what's always so interesting about the markets to me is that there's all these different tangents, right? And ripple effects. And
The whole software thing, because on the one side, I've been using a lot of AI and I enjoy
yes.
almost like for fun creating things myself. And it's true that a company could create their own internal, let's talk about their own internal calendar, their own internal um, software for like if it's a medical clinic and
Mhm.
want to buy one of the more expensive softwares for um, charting. You could just
Yeah.
your own. And it's true, you could do it all. But the thing is, there's a lot of things that we can do ourselves that we still
Right.
prefer to outsource. Like I can make all my meals, but I prefer to order in or have
Right.
someone make it for me. I can chop up my own lettuce, but I prefer to spend money on the pre-chopped lettuce because you still, I can decorate my own house, but I still prefer to pay somebody to do it
Yeah.
for me. So I understand. I do think some of the software companies that will get wiped out for really easy things that you could do,
Yeah.
but for the more complex things,
Mhm.
the experts do their thing rather than try to reinvent the wheel to save
Yeah.
yourself a little bit of money for an inferior product that you're going to create. So I don't know.
Right.
I kind of, I still think like the Shopify's, I mean, I don't know. I still think
I'd
they
have to look.
can be able
Yeah.
to, yeah.
I'd have to look at how that stock's been reacting and all this. I haven't looked at
Oh,
Shop.
wow. Because I own
Oh, yeah,
Shopify.
you do. That's right.
So, I mean, it took a big hit. I don't know how much exactly it's down. And, the Canadian, the TSX in general, because of gold and Shopify, those are big components. It's
Yeah.
the Canadian markets in general have taken a hit, but I don't know. I still think if you look and you think something's, I don't think software is blockbuster, if that makes any sense. Like, do you know what I'm saying? How you look at a
Right, right.
company like that was really antiquated and got really
Yeah.
taken by streaming.
Right, right. I hear you.
But,
Well, and the other thing that so there's somebody I follow on Wall Street. He's on CNBC all the time now. He actually started TV coming on my program. And then I
oh,
think, oh yeah. And then I think I was first. And then anyway, they saw him. He's great. Um And he had a note out today and he said he just thinks that this software garage sale is overblown.
mhm,
And part of it is because you're not going to put your company's data at risk using different AIs, right? Like, you want a company where you have that contract with.
yeah. And there's some just because you can do it all yourself doesn't mean you want to do it all yourself.
Yeah. Or that it will be as good or to your point as
Or that
efficient and who's going to test it. Yeah.
right. So little things I think, yes, you could just do yourself, but still for the big managing products and I don't know, I still think there is a place for software. So I think I would agree with Jensen Wong on this one.
Right. Okay. Well, and so just to talk about actionable items just on that front. So, not that long ago, I forget, no, last May, actually, 9 months ago, I bought an ETF. I'm sure I mentioned this. It's the HXQ.to. So it's on Toronto. .to means on Toronto. So it represents the NASDAQ 100. So the tech companies in the United States, and I was able to buy it with Canadian dollars because I said to my guys that I want more tech exposure, but I don't want to use my US dollars and I don't want to convert Canadian. He said, use this one. So that was great. I bought it at 80 and it went up to 100. So about 24% in 9 months. And with all this concern about software, about 30% of the NASDAQ ish, it's hard to
Mhm.
get an exact, is represented by software names, right? So I'm like, you know what? I've made 25% in about 9 months. I sold it today because this thing is starting to trend lower and I'm like, let me just take my money and out.
Yeah.
Right? But then I also think what's so even though I say that, I think at some point that IGV, the software ETF, might actually be interesting. And I also think I just want to bring this up too, Palantir, which is
Mhm.
such a well-known, well-respected company in the defense space. It's dramatically declined. It's trading like $137. It's down so significantly. And that's one I've always wanted to own, but it trades at a very high multiple.
So maybe now's the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of some of the stuff I'm thinking. But let's switch over to you.
Sure. Well, I mean, again, I'm talking with the GLP-1s drugs today and talking about another stock that took a hit, this Novo Nordisk again.
I was gonna tell you.
I know that one is just, I don't know. It's
What are
crazy.
you seeing on that? Tell people what you saw.
I just saw that they didn't make their, I don't know, they didn't hit their earnings
Okay.
goal and the stock dropped again. And I think there's been more competition among the GLP-1 drugs, so it wasn't their profits weren't as strong as they thought they would be. And although I think they're doing well with their oral pill, I think
Right.
giving them a boost. I don't know. All I know is the biggest blockbuster drug in my medical career is Ozempic, and yet the company that makes it just keeps going down. I don't know. That's just
Well, so interestingly, Eli Lilly, which is the other one, of course, they had very good results on revenue as well as earnings. And their US Manjuro and their Zepbound both beat consensus. So why is that
well, I
for
guess it's just
them?
that a product is not a company, and it matters how they run the company.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And
obviously some
also the
other
other
aspect.
products they have. I mean, Novo Nordisk is very heavy GLP-1 based and diabetes based. So,
Hmm.
anyhow,
Okay.
I can't talk about the I don't know much about the stock or what drives that, but I do know about the product and I prescribe a lot of it. So, this article caught my eye because a lot it used to be that, you know, more middle-aged people or perimenopausal were interested in these drugs for weight loss. And I did have some senior patients that were usually on it for diabetes. But now that they're so in the news as, causing weight loss, but also having other health benefits like cholesterol, diabetes, blood pressure, cardiovascular risk, chronic kidney disease risk being lowered, potentially dementia, people are saying to people, should I be on it? And you have to make that decision. Is it safe in an elderly population? And what do we have to think about in that population? So I came across this article that I thought was interesting. So it said older patients have specific risks for GLP-1 use.
Mm,
S- The high risk things we need to pay attention to are number one, sarcopenia. So, what sarcopenia is, it's the age related progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength that accelerates after the age of 65. So, what does that mean? It means that after the age of 65, we start losing a lot of muscle
mm,
mass and muscle strength. And we know that GLP-1 drugs, being on them, you lose fat, but you also lose lean mass. So is this a concern? If they're already losing muscle, is it dangerous to lose even more muscle because that could increase the risk for frailty and falls,
mhm,
which is a significant cause of mortality and morbidity in that population. So
mm,
that's something that we need to pay attention to. Next is bone loss. So, in the FDA labeling for Wegovy, they actually document that hip fracture rates are 1% for patients on Wegovy versus 0.2% for people on placebo. So, being on these drugs is associated with an increased risk for um, osteoporotic related fractures. So
mm,
you have to be careful about this because already as a woman, when you're in menopause, you're at increased risk for osteoporosis. And if you then combine that with being on a GLP-1 drug, you further increase the risk of bone loss. So that
mm.
needs to be concerned about. And then the third thing was something, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me talk about was dehydration and acute kidney injury. So
Oh.
often for people, when they go on GLP-1 drugs, they might have some lack of appetite. They don't want to eat or drink as much. Obviously, that's the point of the drug. And they also might have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and that can lead to dehydration. And in elderly patients that already have reduced baseline kidney function or poor hydration habits, when you add this onto it, it could be even worse and it could lead to, kidney complications.
Mm,
So, all that said is okay, these are the risks we need to think about, but it doesn't mean we need to not prescribe these drugs. It just means we need to monitor them closer. So,
mm,
number one, you really have to be careful with dose increases. And the biggest risk for bone loss and muscle loss and dehydration and kidney injury is rapid weight loss. So you don't want them to lose, 10 pounds in 2 weeks. It's too fast. So you want to
Mhm.
slowly increase the dose, and slow and steady weight loss is really important.
Huh.
Also want to teach your elderly patients how to understand how much protein they need to have. And, it doesn't have to be the whole gram per pound, but at least getting like 70 grams of protein and showing them how to get that and easy ways to get it if they're not feeling as hungry or if they can't eat as much, through things like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs. Those are easier to get down and a good way of getting protein.
Mhm. Yep.
And also to check the labs more frequently. So, and to make sure that they're getting the actual name brand and not compounded versions where you don't know exactly what's in it and you can't, make sure the dose is the same each time.
Do they have compounds in Canada?
Less than the US,
Okay.
much less than the US, but there are people that are able to get it. So I,
Right.
um,
Right. Yeah.
I think the key thing is like with all these companies popping up where you can just, put in your name and get the prescription mailed to you, that might be fine for a young, healthy person. But if you're over 65, if you have some other medical issues, this is
Mm.
something you really want to be getting from your doctor. You want to be checking your labs to make sure that your electrolytes and your kidney function are looking okay. You want to make sure that you have a baseline bone density. So you're not already starting from a low bone mass and a low muscle mass
Yeah.
starting point, and then
Makes
just
sense.
follow it. Yeah. So those were the main risks. Um then they talked about the moderate risks. So the moderate risks are um GI issues. So
Oh,
yeah, so you know again, like we talked about, diarrhea, gastroparesis, not, constipation. If you're already struggling with those issues, you don't want to then go start somebody on these drugs. A lot of the senior patients I have a lot of constipation. So you have to be careful starting a drug like this that you don't want to exacerbate it.
wow.
And also dizziness. So I find older patients tend to have more dizziness. And one of the main side effects of these medications can be that. So again, we don't want to increase the risk of fall. So you just have to be more vigilant in monitoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most amazing things though, Melissa, as we keep talking about, different medical aspects and how your body changes is it's like, my God, isn't being young just so fortunate? Like,
Right? Yeah.
no. Really. I
Well,
mean,
it's no different than looking at your car. Like, how good does it feel to drive a new car? And once you've had that car for 10 years, you're like, oh my God, this car's falling apart.
my car is 10 years old. How
And
old's
how's it?
yours? Actually, it's good. It's good.
Huh?
Yep. It's a
Okay,
Mercedes
so there you go.
SUV.
Well, you probably take good care of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Probably.
probably don't drive it that, it depends on
Yeah.
the miles you're putting on it. My
Yeah.
car, not so good because
What are you going to do with your Tesla?
so this is where I kind of regret, you know, I don't lease my cars because I was always taught that it's better financially to finance and pay your car as opposed to leasing it. But the thing
Yeah.
that's with leasing is when your lease is up, you get a new one, right? So if you
Right.
own your car outright, I don't really have a reason to sell it, to get a new one just to get one.
Right.
The whole point of financing and owning it is that you can own it for a long time, and therefore it was like a better decision than just leasing it. So if I don't know.
But I mean with the heat.
Oh, yeah, I gotta get that fixed.
I wonder if they can fix it. You
The
probably have to
annoying
buy a whole
thing
new software upgrade.
and the annoying thing is that it's gonna cost me, like, a big chunk to fix it, which is frustrating.
Yeah.
And heat pump in. Yeah, so
Huh.
that's happening on Monday.
Okay. Well, it's
Mhm.
going to be like -30, I think, isn't it? It's going way down again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teslas are not the best for winter weather
Yeah.
climates. Although, did you hear what Elon's saying now? How, like, Tesla's gonna be basically a robot company now?
Well, I think we've always thought that, but I don't know what his latest.
Well, it was initially a I mean, it's been a
Right.
car company for a long
Oh,
time. Now it seems like the whole car aspect of it. I think they're getting rid of a few of the models.
huh.
Yeah, no more
It's
Model X, no more Model it's S or 3. I forget which one they're getting rid of, 2 of them.
huh.
And then the seven-seater Y, which I have, no longer, that's discontinued.
Oh my goodness, Melissa.
Mhm.
Your favorite
I do
vehicle.
think I know, I do think I would get another Tesla.
Hmm.
It's like once you get into it, like I had to drive Adam's car because in my car and he had no gas. And I was like, "Ugh, I am not going to a gas."
I know. It's
I
awful.
refuse. It's awful.
Yeah. But
So
I don't know. Maybe the hybrid's the way to go.
yeah, but then I read something that's like if you're gonna do it well, like if you're a hybrid, you're not doing either well. You're not doing the electric well and you're not doing the gas version well.
Well, what does well mean when it comes to a car? And you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I I don't. I've never been a major car person. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. What else is on your docket?
Um, so NACI. So NACI, have you ever heard of that before, that acronym? So it's
No.
the National Advisory Committee on Immunizations. So
Okay.
NACI was in the news a lot during COVID.
Oh,
I always heard about the NACI recommendation. And so exactly like your reaction, people are just they don't want to
yeah.
hear it. Reality
Yes.
is it's still important. They give us good guidance and
Mm.
advice. And the recent recommendation to family doctors is they're recommending that all patients, even if they were previously immunized with an older version of the pneumonia vaccine, that they update their vaccination to get one of the newer conjugate vaccines, the higher valent conjugate vaccines, because they do a better job of protecting against invasive pneumococcal disease,
Mm.
pneumonia. Um, so if you get your pneumonia shot from your family doctor, it's free, it's covered, at least in Ontario, it's covered. And the version that we have now is a conjugate vaccine. It's called Prevnar 20. So if
Oh, right.
you're 65 and you came into my office today, I would say to you, "Oh, would you like to get your pneumonia vaccine today?" We would give it to you for free in the office. One and done. Not like COVID that you have to update all the time.
Right.
The question was, well, what happens if a patient got is 67? What happens if they got their pneumonia vaccine 2 years ago from their family doctor and got the old version, which here in Ontario was called Pneumovax, which was not a conjugate vaccine? Should we update them and give them Prevnar? And the guidance is yes.
Hmm. Okay.
So what I'm looking at is my patients who I gave the older version of the pneumonia vaccine. I'm now recalling them and saying, you know what, you should really get this updated version because it will better protect you.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
and if you're under 65, I will recommend it if you have chronic health conditions. So, if you had bad asthma, or if you have diabetes or heart disease, then you might want to look at getting the pneumonia shot earlier than 65.
Got it. What
Yeah,
does conjugate mean?
good question. I think it has something to
Yeah.
do with the protein, how it's bound. It just
Okay.
does a better job of creating a stronger immune response.
Okay.
It's like an updated version in terms of how it works, but it's not like it doesn't mean it's an mRNA vaccine that people were
Right.
scared of COVID shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for most people, a sore arm, that's pretty
Yeah.
much common side effect for people. So that's important.
Hmm. Speaking of drugs, so it was interesting. So, obviously Lilly performed well. Their stock was up 10%. Amgen also, so Amgen, one of the largest biotech companies, their stock was up 8.2% because they had a very strong quarter and they saw strength in Prolia.
Oh yeah, the osteoporosis drug.
Yeah. And then also it's see, I can't pronounce it. I don't know what it is. But yeah, the Prolia drug really helped that
Maybe because
company.
so many people are on GLP-1 drugs and they're all getting osteoporotic, and then they got to go on
Maybe. I don't.
maybe.
Yeah.
'Cause that drug's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like it has been.
Mhm.
And because you own Uber, I wanted to mention this
That
stock
one's
to you. It's down
yeah.
5%. They had a good quarter. The gross bookings, the amount that they booked in total, did beat. and the mobility part and the delivery was higher than consensus. But going forward, their EBITDA, so earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, was a bit light in terms of their guidance. Remember how you and I always talk about, like right now, I should have said this, that we are in the midst of earnings season in the United States, and Canada's always just a little bit later. So they're reporting their fourth quarter and year ends right now. And one of the reasons why earnings are so important is because A, what did they do versus what we all thought they would do? But also, what are they guiding towards? What does the outlook look like? And it's good to kind of hear about companies that you might not even own because it gives you a bit of an idea in terms of what's also going on in the economy from their perspective. And what I mean by that is Clorox, for one, they noted that the lower income consumer is under pressure and that they're looking for value. Chipotle, interesting. I've talked a little bit about Chipotle, which was a spin out from McDonald's. They're increasingly reliant on the higher income consumer. 60% of their visitors, patrons, have a household income of over $100,000. They also said, though, that the GLP-1s are driving a shift to smaller portions and increased protein. So I didn't bring it up because of the GLP-1. I brought it up just because it's interesting to hear what companies are saying about the consumer, because we've talked a lot about it being a K economy, right? Like the rich are
Mm.
getting richer and it's getting more difficult for the lower end consumer because of, higher prices and what have you. So
They're so expensive.
food is.
So expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I guess I'm getting that old where it's like I still expect the prices to be what I was when I was a kid. I'm like, how much is it? Like,
Yeah.
it's wild. And then you add on the tip, and then if you get the delivery, it's expensive.
Hmm.
Yes, the GLP-1 drug is like helpful for people's wallets that you get to just spend less money on food.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one stuff I wanted to mention too, from this K perspective, is it's obviously a higher end brand. Ralph Lauren, you and I talked about it over a year ago, and I I was looking at to buy
Buy
to
it.
remind people I never bought it, and it was about probably $200 when we were looking at it. It's now $376.
That much?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the Gen Zs are loving it apparently, and I haven't seen it, but they've done the outfits for Team USA Olympics. I looked at it, it's only trading at about 26 times, Melissa, which is kind of just around where the market is. It's a little bit more maybe, but not too much. Um, and I'm like, I don't buy them after they've had a huge run, but I don't know if there's this whole like look that's come back or it's just so desired and the home goods as well, like that just people want that comfort, that feel again that we used to have. It might be worth it. I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Well,
Well,
uh,
you have to go tell me you got to shop and tell me what you think.
I'm too short to wear Ralph Lauren.
Melissa,
I am, and I'm too short
what
for winter clothes. It's
for
just
winter
winter
clothes?
season. Short people have a hard time in the winter. I'm telling you, you just
God,
look like children walking around.
what are
You
you
do.
talking about?
You're not tall if you wear flat boots,
Yeah,
okay? Flat winter boots and a coat. You look like a child.
it's it's not untrue. It's not
Yeah,
untrue.
I'm just saying. And Ralph Lauren is the tall riding look. Like that's
Yeah,
the Ralph Lauren look, you know?
yeah,
I like it. It's not my look, but I respect it. I love it on
yeah.
certain people. It's just, yeah, I
That's
don't think I
funny.
own anything Ralph Lauren.
But you can do a cute little polo top and a cute little polo skirt. Summer stuff.
Yeah, summer,
Yeah,
not
you could do the
winter.
polo. You could do polo sport, and he
With
needs to make.
a wedge heel with a wedge runner.
Yeah, so cute, so cute.
All right, fine, maybe
All right,
all
okay.
right, let's talk first of all. I mean, did you see the Peter Attia stuff? Like, have you seen it in the news? Have you read any of the stuff that's come out?
I was so briefly like I just read the one where he was giving him to, and maybe it was testosterone. I don't know, but what I have read, Melissa, is doctors coming on now and saying, "Oh yeah, for the guy who went to medical school, but didn't do residency and didn't XYZ is, and I'm sure they've been frustrated about this for a long time. Not the Epstein thing, but his rise. But you tell
Well,
us.
there's a lot of doctors who are business or entrepreneurial, and some that didn't do a residency, that just did medical school. And I don't, you know, it's a good. I mean, I know a lot of lawyers that don't practice that are incredibly successful. That it's a good undergrad degree, and it's not so different with medicine. It's a very good undergraduate degree, also in terms of knowledge. If you want to be an entrepreneur, which he is,
Right.
never say. I mean, I don't agree with that part of it. Look, he went to medical school. He's obviously a smart guy. Um, uh, you know, it sounds like he's more of a entrepreneurial type of physician or research-based physician than
Mhm.
someone who does tons of clinical practice. So, I mean, that doesn't bother me. He's talked about his credentials. If you read the book Outlive, he talks about his background. He's actually quite open about some stuff he's gone through. So that part didn't bug me. I will say that his podcast, The Drive, I can't listen to because I do find him incredibly arrogant sounding.
Really?
I
Huh.
don't know why. I loved his book, but the podcast, now some people might listen to me and say, "Oh, I liked her book. I don't like the way I don't know." So I'm not that part I don't care. I think he's a educated and well-spoken and individual who's done his homework, and I agree with a lot of the stuff he said in his book, and I think he
Huh.
said it uh, ethical way that he talked about things and in a
Yeah.
safe way. The issue I have is that they came out saying that Epstein had low testosterone.
Oh, okay.
That's something that caught my attention because I started thinking about that and about how one of the side effects of going on testosterone replacement therapy for men can be that it makes them too sexually aggressive, that
Mm.
it boosts their libido, that there could be
Hmm.
a higher risk of infidelity because of the increased drive.
Hmm.
Okay. So then I started thinking, if anything, you would think maybe he had low testosterone and then got too much. But it doesn't look like that's what his blood work shows. So why would he have low testosterone? Okay. So why would any man have low testosterone? So testosterone naturally does decrease with age.
Mhm.
Okay. So I think it's something like 20, don't quote me on this, look it up after, but I think it's like 20 to 30% of men above age 65 will have what's considered low testosterone. And not surprising because women, as they age, get lower estrogen also.
Right.
It's not an issue unless you're having symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, decreased muscle mass, erectile dysfunction, low libido. But the thing is, do you think he was having those problems? Like if you look at him, he had a nice physique. And if anything, they talk about all his oversexed behavior.
Yeah.
So it's just surprising to me to hear that he had low testosterone. So why might someone have low testosterone? Okay, so it might just be aging.
Mhm.
Genetically, some men have hypogonadism, so their testicles produce less testosterone. It can also happen as a side effect from certain medications. So men that are addicted to opiates, or women, I'm just talking about men here with
Right. Right.
testosterone.
Yeah.
So fentanyl or heroin or Percocets or whatever it may be, if you
Wow.
take a lot of those drugs, it can lower your testosterone.
Huh.
So I remember when I worked in a methadone clinic, a lot of the men that we treated were also getting testosterone replacement as well,
Hmm.
in addition to the methadone treatment. So it could be from that. It can be from steroid medication, antidepressants. Those can lower
Wow.
testosterone. Certain genetic conditions can be associated with lower testosterone.
Hmm.
And another thing that can be is that if you've taken steroids in the past, so let's
Mhm.
you were in your 20s and you used anabolic steroids and took tests to grow your muscles, when you come off it, you could have a decreased ability to produce your own testosterone. So it
Mhm.
made me wonder, was he on testosterone in his youth and then had low testosterone as a result after that? Did he genetically just have low testosterone? Was it
Hmm.
aging? Was he on other medications that caused it? I don't know. I just started
Yeah.
thinking, the doctor and me started thinking. I was surprised to hear that he had low testosterone, and then it made me
Hmm.
um, wonder about that. And what's also interesting is that in certain countries and in the US too, in certain states,
Hmm.
uh, as part of like parole deals, they'll often say that for I don't even know what you call them, like child sex offenders, as
Oh,
they need to go on medication that will lower their testosterone.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it made you wonder, like, he was convicted, I think, in the early 2000s.
Originally, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So what did they say to him? Well, you have to take a drug to lower your testosterone. I don't know. All this is just
Apparently not.
all this is just, me just hypothesizing. None of this is any fact that I've read. I just, in reading through all that, it just makes you wonder, you know?
Well, two things. One is I was told years ago, I don't know if it's true, that if you're a man and you have a lot of testosterone, that it can lead to baldness.
Yes. And he had a full head of hair.
Exactly.
I noticed that too. He had great hair.
Yeah.
Well, he probably had low
Isn't that
uh,
weird though? Like why would test
dihydrotestosterone because it's dihydrotestosterone that's associated with baldness.
Okay. And the reason why this caught my attention so long ago is because, as you know, I worked on Wall Street and everybody's aggressive. But when I saw like someone who didn't have good hair, I'm like, oh, geez, I got to watch out for him. Like,
High testosterone and
high
bald.
testosterone guy. And then the other thing is, so many women now are taking estrogen and progesterone and whatever. So, and it's orally or patches or what have you. How do men take testosterone? And in particular, because from what I know, this has been available to men for so long, whereas we're now just getting back into this.
Yep. So again, something I saw online was that apparently, what's her name?
Ghislaine,
Ghislaine
yeah,
Maxwell
yeah.
said that he was using a testosterone patch for years. And then somebody
Wow.
went there and said, oh, well, no wonder he still had low testosterone because that doesn't work as well as taking it via injection. So a patch is available for men. It's not as popular because often men have body hair, so it's hard to put the patch on. Also, wouldn't want it to be visible,
Yeah.
and you might not have as much absorption of the testosterone.
Huh.
So it's not something that I have ever prescribed, but topical testosterone is used in a gel. So you just rub it on the upper arm. Some men like that. They don't want to deal with the needle. It works. It absolutely works. I've seen
Oh.
testosterone levels go up from the gel, but some people don't want to have to remember to put it on, every day. Plus, they worry if they're sleeping with a partner, they don't want the testosterone to rub on the
Oh, right.
um, and it's also hard to get the exact amount right to be as precise with it.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
the most commonly used is injection. So it's not like an Ozempic injection. It's not a tiny little needle. It's more invasive than that. And usually it's getting
Wow.
muscle in the butt. Yeah.
Okay. How
Uh,
often?
so there's different regimens, uh, twice a week or once a week, most
It's a
typically.
lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so there are some clinics that do this, and men will go in once a week and get their shot. Some regimens, it can be once every 2 weeks, but I've seen everything from twice a week to once every 2 weeks. I remember in
Yeah.
the methadone clinic, we would give it trying to remember the men I gave it to. I think it was once every 2 weeks.
Hmm. Why did you work in a meth clinic?
So, as a family doc, I'm trained in family medicine. And it's primary care. So I've done a lot of different things over the years. I've worked in urgent care clinic. I've done aesthetic medicine, as you know, with the Botox and filler. I've worked in addiction medicine. And so part of addiction medicine is treating patients that are addicted to opiates. And methadone is harm reduction. So basically, you are you're giving them methadone, which is a safe
Oh,
um, type of opiate that lasts longer to help them get off of more dangerous and risky um, drugs.
wow.
the supply, and that can often be laced with things, and yeah.
Mm,
So
mm.
I did that for I found it interesting, and I found it rewarding, so I did that for, I'm trying to remember how many years, and not full time, like, these are things I would do part I found that just doing general family medicine practice every day can get a little bit, monotonous, like, you wanna
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
yeah, you wanna keep yourself doing a bunch of different things, plus you wanna become in a general practice, you have patients that have all sorts of different issues, so you wanna learn how to become sort of expert in these different.
Yeah.
Also done like obesity and, um, medicine and metabolic
Hmm.
medicine. So,
A lot.
yeah, a lot of different stuff. But anyhow, so that was yeah, people don't recognize that that can cause low testosterone.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think people doing that, there's many other, they're probably not worried about the testosterone, right?
No. I don't know.
I don't know. That I
I
don't
don't
know. I can't surmise that. Um,
Well,
yeah.
it goes both ways because then you have it's like there's some patients that are athletes that, um, get injured, right? That have used these anabolic steroids in their wrestling or boxing or whatever, get injured, and then they start using the opiates for pain. And then as a result of the pain, that
Yeah.
testosterone, then they're not performing as well in sport. And it can be like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair point. Fair
Yeah.
point.
But I was like can't remember what day it was, but I was in a like doom scrolling social media, like reading all these emails. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So
With the Epstein.
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't, maybe I'll take a look. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, it's whatever. It just came over it just once you start talking about it, your feed, you'll just
That's
start
right. So now I'm gonna get it.
you're gonna get
Thanks a
that.
lot. No.
Mhm.
All right, we should wrap, but there's one last thing I wanted to mention to you, Melissa. You and I both bought TD Bank,
Yeah.
and we bought it at about $76. We bought it when there was so much hair on the story, when they had the money laundering issues in the United States. Nobody wanted it. We bought it probably around a 5.6% dividend yield. And the stock went from 76 up to $131. So it's up
Mhm.
72% in just over a year.
I know, that was a good buy.
72%. It was a great buy. So the question is, and I don't have the answer, do we sell it?
No. See, I
Uh,
never saw anything. I mean, me is I'm not looking to make a quick, you know, buck because then if I sell it, I'm just gonna go put it into something else, but I still think oh, 1 second. Yes, yes, you can wear your shorts. You need to check and see if you can wear shorts to soccer. Yes, you can wear your shorts to soccer.
There you go.
You'll be okay in the car on the way to soccer.
The
I don't
car
think
with
it's
the
too hot
heat.
there. Yeah, don't take my car with no heat, that's for sure. I don't
Oh,
know. So this is my problem, and this is where the hardest part of investing for me is not buying. I don't know. It's not panic selling. I don't have a hard time with that. Psychological, knowing when to sell and take profits. That is, I think, the hardest part of.
I, I, I agree, and I say that for myself as well. But so I have to go to now. I have to go and do the homework on it. Like, does the valuation make sense for this company? It comes down to valuation. Like there are because it is just a Canadian bank. It's not like it's going to be growing at 30%.
And over time,
Yeah.
you're right. So are you gonna get the same return on it as a growth stock? No, but they
Well,
do
not
pay a dividend.
not even just as a growth stock, but can it fall back? Like how like you have to look at the valuation of it to then figure out does it really warrant where it's currently at? It might. I don't know.
You will do the work on it because 'cause I'd
I'll
like to.
do the work on it. Okay. And you have to go pack. Are you already packed?
So I have packed a carry-on, which I think my friends that I'm going with are like, "They can't believe I packed carry-on," because I don't
You
wanna.
did a carry on when you came to see me
I
in
know.
Aspen. It's unbelievable.
I know, so I even packed my boots too, like, I packed my boots in the carry-on bag. I was very careful about the 3 outfits I'm gonna or the 4 outfits I'm gonna wear for the nights, and the
Yeah.
whole thing was my shoes. That What kind of shoes do you wear out in Vail at night? Do you wear high heels or do you just wear your boots?
Boots.
Yeah, so then I'm not worried, then I'm gonna stick with my carry-on. I've got my boots that I can wear. And
By the way, this is when having childlike clothes comes in handy.
yeah, being tiny.
Just
There
small.
you go. We're not quite in winter, but we're good at winter packing.
There you go.
That's true.
I
I
can't
pack all
believe
winter because I don't want to get to the airport. It's an early flight, and I don't have to go even earlier to check my bag. So
No, it's unbelievable, Melissa. Nobody can go on a ski vacation with packing her ski boots.
yeah,
Put on your helmet.
I'm not. I'm renting the helmet. I'm renting
Okay.
the skis and my helmet,
Okay.
and because I lost my helmet last trip.
Did you?
Yeah, I left it on the plane.
With me? When you
Yeah.
came here?
That's all.
No way.
Yeah,
Sad.
I know. It's okay. It was purple. I needed a new helmet anyway. Why did I buy a purple helmet? I bought it on sale. It doesn't match my outfit. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, by the way, it is warm here. I mean, it could change, but have a couple layers. All right.
So, okay, all
Tell
right.
me.
Well, I'll see you when I'm there, and
Okay.
we got Super Bowl Sunday. So
I
come on.
know. I know. I don't know what we're doing. Okay. All right. We'll chat tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye.